I have literally just gotten the phone call saying that we've completed, and I'm on the way to go pick up our keys and to drop off our keys. And poor Maggie has been with me in the car and waiting outside for the past few hours. Josh is with the moving guys. They've been waiting at the new house. So I'm gonna go pick up the keys. This is the start of a whole new garden, and I can't believe it. It's taken so long. So let's go get the keys and check out the house. Sitting here in the sunroom of our new home, but it has been a process getting here, and you will probably know that it's taken a while. Taken a while for us to get this house and to move in, and I've been nattering on about it throughout my videos since last autumn. And packing the house, packing the garden has essentially been our life for the last, I guess, week, maybe longer now. And part of that was packing up the garden. Now the garden, when it's all in situ, it looks all organized and tidy and everything is in its place. And it doesn't really seem like I'm a plant hoarder, but I am. And it took us 5 van loads to move all of my plants, all of my planters, the David Austin roses as well. I spent, I think, about an hour digging those guys up. They had established so well that their roots were snaking along the pathways, underneath the gravel, down deep into the soil, and I tried to get them all out as best as I could. I had to sacrifice a few roots, but I've brought them, and I'm so glad that I did, because I was going on and on about whether or not I was going to take them. They're here now. And then we also had our patio furniture, the pallet planters. I took one of the composting units, my wormery, just so many things. And that doesn't even include everything that was in my garden store. So all the trays and the plant pots and my tools, and it was a lot, but we got it here. And I just want to show you what the home garden looked like just before we moved. Yesterday was day 3 of our cleaning, packing, and moving, and we moved everything that we were taking from the garden to the new house. And it just looks so empty. So many pots. I think we took 5 van loads of potted plants, miscellaneous garden things, garden trays, house plants, different types of composters, and larger containers for growing plants and food in. And it's looking pretty tidy. It looks a little bit sad, actually. We spent a lot of time here working on the garden, building the raised beds, putting in the pathways round, growing in the greenhouse. And I do love these fruit trees here. The greenhouse could use a clean, but we're just running out of time. I'm gonna sweep it out though before we leave. And leaving that planter in. And the new greenhouse is just a little bit bigger. So 1 pane of glass wider, 1 pane of glass longer, and all the plants are in there already. And we're leaving just what's growing in the raised beds for the next owner. It wasn't all that long ago that I was making you a video to show you around the new home garden. So that is now the old home garden, And 2.5 years later, we are at what we hope will be our forever home. The idea with buying the first place was that it was all that we could afford at that time, and I had actually never owned a property before then. I'd been renting my entire adult life, living various places, and it was getting to the point where I really wanted to have my own home. And Josh was on the same level as me. We found what we could that had some gardening space, and then the plan always had been to stay there for 5 years, to save, and to upgrade to a place that had more land, more privacy, more, I guess, potential for living the lifestyle that we wanted to, which for me is obviously centered around gardening. Now, what ended up happening was that Josh, who is a floor layer, was laying some floors for an estate agent last year and just mentioned offhand that we were interested in a type of property eventually. And we got a call not long after that saying, there's a property that fits the bill. And before we place it on the market, do you want to come and have a look at it? And sure, we came up here, and I remember walking around here, this is in September of last year, just overwhelmed by the potential and overwhelmed by the idea of moving again so soon and all of that. And I remember looking out the window and thinking about what I could grow here. It's sheltered. There is full sun for most of the day throughout most of the garden. And we put an offer in that day. And very shortly after that, it was accepted. And we had just been saving and saving. We don't have high-end lifestyles at all. My car's like 15 years old with dents, and it's basically a mobile shed. And we don't go on, when we do go on holidays, they aren't very expensive. We backpack and we budget travel as much as we can, pre-COVID times, obviously. And so we've just been saving and saving, and this was it. We actually could afford it even after 2.5 years, but barely. And I think with the real estate market now, which is insane, we probably wouldn't be able to afford it. It's probably jumped in value again. It's crazy. And I feel so bad for people that I know that are looking for properties, wanting to move right now, and it's just so hard. Anyway, we're here. It's the third morning that we've woken up here, and I want to show you around the garden, to show you what I'm starting with, because I've not touched anything other than put some of my plants in the very filthy greenhouse and put plants out on the patio behind the house. I've not done anything with it other than walk around it. And so if you spot something that is interesting, do pop it down in a comment or as a question down below, and also any of your ideas, because gosh, this is a blank canvas and I've got to start somewhere. We're walking up the driveway now, and I just realized when I was walking down here that there are some wild violets growing along the side here. They're dog violets, so they don't have scent, but you can still use them in cooking and beauty. And then we're opening up here to what will be the main gardening space. It's all grass pretty much. Our plot is 1/2 acre with the house sitting up towards the top. This corner down here gets the least amount of light, and the grass is so lush. Look at it down here. And we're just gonna look up this way. So we're south facing now. And this is all gonna be my garden space. This is incredible. This plot was originally a full acre, and the owner sold us half of it. And so we can walk over here and we can see the current boundary. And it has this really lovely DIY fence. Not, but they're posts and they show what comes along with our property at the moment. So it comes over here and then it goes up, and then there's more garden space around the back side of the house as well. We'll go over there just now. There's an extension on the back of the house. And if you look at the junction between the extension and that window, you'll see a little feline. It's Maggie. And she is aching to go outside. She escaped this morning. I captured her and she's been howling to go out ever since. It's gonna be a while yet since we let her out. And I'm gonna take her out on her lead first and then give her a little bit more freedom. We're also adopting 2 cats this coming week. And I'm gonna have to self-isolate here at the house on my own for 2 weeks. Right, so before we get back to what's back behind the house, this entire hedge is ours. So this area all along here, and it has hidden in it lots of these crystal quartz stones, quite a few of them. There's piles of them up there by the gorse. You can see them poking through here. These are beautiful white stones. And so I'm gonna have to dig them all out and see what we can build with them. The back of the house gets quite a lot of sun, except for in that far corner where that little shed is. It's quite dark because of all the hedges around there. And we're gonna need to look into lowering those hedges a bit. But in the meantime, it's actually getting a decent amount of sun back here. All of my potted plants are sat down here, and the bricks for the herb spiral sitting and waiting to be reconstructed again. I've got my house plants, or some of them, out here getting a bit of sunshine. I'm trying to figure out where to put them all. And then I've just got things shoved here, there, and everywhere. This is what happens when you move. And now the greenhouse. What do you think? It's quite a bit bigger than my last one. Not hugely so, but it makes a difference. It's old, it's a bit crusty, it's definitely filthy. There's a pane of glass that's broken here in the door that I need to repair. And in fact, some broken glass there. I need to pick that up before Maggie gets outside. So as you can see, I just stuck all of my plants in here and I have not done anything. All of this rubbish was left here. And this place hasn't been used properly in years. Years. I think that the calendar on the wall inside the house when we moved in said 2015. But the rest of my plants are doing fine up here on this bench, and I'm actually quite pleased about this bench that the greenhouse came with. My tomatoes that were under the grow lights, they are now graduated to the greenhouse, straight out during the move. There's some more over here. Peas are coming up. Everything is just springing up in this warmth. I definitely need a shed. There's a workshop down below the house, which I will maybe show you in a different video when it's all cleaned out. It's gorgeous. I'm absolutely in love with it. But we've got this shed here in the meanwhile, and I think I'm going to put it up on Facebook to give away and get a new one. And the old guy who used to live here had a little poke around on the last day and took what he wanted out. And then there's lots of stuff just left in here from over the years. Lots and lots of junk. Some old tools, pots, old shears. It's crazy. It's crazy the things that you can just leave behind. There's this narrow strip between our house and the fence that's the boundary with the next house, and lots of ivy and bramble growing here. Buddleia, of course, it spreads everywhere. We're gonna clear this and also take out this metal contraption because apparently it serves no function anymore. It must have been the old oil tank or something like that. A lot of the heating on the Isle of Man is by diesel because it's just an island thing. So that's probably what it is. And then the idea is that I will use this area as a composting area. It gets partial sun. It's an area that we won't really use, so it's actually going to be absolutely perfect for that. The land is all on a slight slope, and this front little lawn in front of the house is probably about the same size as my old back garden. And bulbs planted along here, daffodils. There are some things over in the border that I'm a little bit wary of. So the bamboo, there are bramble and buddleia growing over in this area. Buddleia, it's one of those plants that I appreciate it for its pollinator benefits, but I really don't like the plant itself. It's such a conundrum. And then there are all kinds of wildflowers growing in the lawn as well. Aren't these beautiful? And then further on we have some native primroses as well. There's loads of native primroses growing all over the property. Now the last little area that I want to show you is down the side of the house. There's a bit of a walk here, and Maggie is still in the corner snoozing. Hey, little captive kitten. So it's this area along here, and there are a couple of trees, and the tree that's directly in front of us, this is an apple tree. It's a Braeburn, which is my favorite type of eating apple. And then there's wild garlic, crocosmia, nettles, daffodils, creeping buttercup, which is a difficult plant to deal with in a garden, and lots of ivy, and of course yet more buddleia. And this is quite funny down here because this looks like a tree here on the end, especially when you stand in front of it. Right there in the center. What do you think that is? Well, that is a post, a wooden post. And ivy has grown up it and then basically created a canopy. And then to the left of it, this is a Victoria plum, and apparently it's quite prolific. Moving here has been a dream come true, but as you can see from our walk around, there is a lot of work to do. Beginning with cleaning. There's so much junk. There's so much junk. No one's been living here for a while, so there are old tools and rubbish and just bits hidden in the hedges. That all needs to be pulled out. And then this next summer and even the entire next year, I'll be thinking about how to set up the garden, where to start first, what are the first projects. And we have time as well. This is our forever home, so it doesn't have to happen overnight. This isn't going to be a garden transformation program. You're not going to tune in next week and see everything finished. This is real. This is my real garden, and you're going to see how I transform it, propagating plants, bringing in help when I need to, because this is such a big project that I am not going to be able to do it myself, and Josh isn't going to be able to help me through most of the days because he has another job. So it's going to be an adventure. It's going to be exciting, And I'm so glad that you have been able to see it as a blank canvas with me now too. And in the years to come, it's going to be developing bit by bit. And I just can't wait to see what it becomes. Thank you so much for watching. So pleased to be able to show you around the new property. And also, if you've not ordered my new book, A Woman's Garden, Grow Beautiful Plants and Make Useful Things, it's out now in Britain and it's out in the US and Canada on April 27th. You can get it on Amazon and other major booksellers. I'll see you next time for another video here on Lovely Greens. Bye for now. One last thing before you go. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe to Lovely Greens and click that little bell icon so that you get notifications for when new videos are out.